Atlanta News First.
Good morning, friends.
Plus starts now with the First Alert Weather Day.
Hi. How's everybody doing today? Have you stepped outside? Were you sweating? My mom texted me earlier that the windows of her house were fogged up because of the humidity. So I thought that we would go through just how dang humid it is outside and how long it stays that way and how humidity can make it feel so much hotter than it actually is outside. So right now, dew points are in the low to mid 70s. Look at Eatonton. 77 degrees. Once you start to get dew points above 70, y'all, it is basically unbearable outside when the sun is out because it's just so humid. It's like you can barely breathe. You can feel like you can cut the air with butter, right? Here's the impact it's having on the way it feels. So we're currently sitting in the 70s, right? Only Thomaston is at 81 degrees. But when you add that humidity, it feels like 80 in Atlanta, feels like 87 in Eatonton, feels like 85 in Thomaston, feels like 80 in Athens. And as the temperatures climb into the 80s, with the humidity, it's just going to start feeling hotter and hotter and hotter. So here's a look. It's going to feel like 88 degrees in an hour. Yikes. It's going to feel like 94 at 3 p.m. So even with the clouds and the rain in the forecast today, it's still going to be really, really humid. When you just get the sun peeking out of the clouds, man, it is, again, almost unbearable. And it's this humid for most of the southeast. Check this out. As far north as Knoxville, that humidity still in place tomorrow. Really thick humidity still in place. This is Monday now, Tuesday. Yikes. Okay, we're just stuck in this pattern where we're seeing the humidity in from the Gulf of Mexico. It's bringing us really, really humid conditions. So then we start talking about the heat index, which is the combination of the actual temperature and the humidity. And when we get heat advisories, the criteria is a little different across the country. Some areas of the country really don't ever see very humid conditions. So their criteria for a heat advisory, which is when you're urged to stay inside, when you can get heat exhaustion, is actually lower. And areas like Wyoming, Colorado, and then way up in the Northeast when they rarely see hot weather, their criteria, this is hilarious, for a heat index is 95, which means that down there today, this afternoon here, would be a heat advisory up in areas like New Hampshire. That's crazy, right? Once you start getting into the 100 range, New York, the Great Lakes region, the High Plains, 100 degrees feels like temperatures is the criteria for a heat advisory, which still, like, we see it feels like temperatures above 100 pretty much the entire month of July. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. Here, most of the Southeast and the Midwest, it's humid. We get really hot days in the summer. So for us here in Georgia, our criteria for a heat index is it feels like temperature of 105. Then you have Florida, the entire Gulf Coast, parts of Texas like Austin, where it's just really humid. The criteria there is 110. And check this out. Yikes. Savannah, Augusta, Columbia, South Carolina, Charleston. I was in Charleston last week. It was so humid, guys. It felt like you couldn't even breathe outside. And then parts of central Oklahoma and South Texas, the criteria for a heat advisory is 110 degrees. Woof. This is why we don't live in South Carolina. I do say so myself. So, okay. Look at the timestamp top left of the screen. See Friday, 4 p.m.? The air temperature this afternoon is going to top out at 86. But with a dew point of 70, that means it will feel like 91. This chart really helps paint the picture of the air temperature and the dew point, what it will feel like outside, okay? Then we go into the night hours. We climb into tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to see widespread storms. That will cap the actual high temperatures, but our dew points will be in the low 70s. So tomorrow we might only hit 84, but it will feel more like 89 or 90 degrees outside, okay? And then on Sunday, same thing. We're going to see highs in the upper 80s, dew points at 70. It feels like temperatures on Sunday could actually be sitting more around like the mid 90s because we are going to see more sunshine on Sunday on Father's Day. So the heat risk tomorrow is pretty low. This is a new product from the National Weather Service that they issued last year. Not a big deal. You should be able to be outside. Okay, so here's the way it's going to feel outside. Tomorrow at noon, feels like 90 in Eatonton, 91 in LaGrange, 86 in Atlanta. Look at this. 4 p.m. tomorrow feels like 90 in Atlanta. This is even with the storms, guys. 97 in Eatonton, 93 in LaGrange. So it is going to be hot tomorrow. But again, on Sunday, because it's not going to be as stormy, with the sunshine, it should feel even hotter outside. It feels like 100 in LaGrange, 91 in Athens. So it is really starting to feel like summer outside. And this humidity, y'all, it's really here to stay. I don't see a pattern change until the end of next week. We will finally see a cold front come through Thursday into Friday. That should usher in some drier air. But until we get there, it's just going to stay very humid for the long term, okay? So even if we don't see storms every day, that humidity will stay high as we head into next week. But you guys know. Come on. It's June. It's June in Georgia. This is what you expect for this time of year. We're not going to see any actual 90-degree days. I think we'll stay in the 80s for the long term. And I want to remind you guys, this time last year, had highs in the upper 90s. We saw upper 90s 9 days out of 12 days the end of June. So very different last year. I'll take the storms and the lower temperatures, if I'm being honest. All right, guys. Courtney will be back at noon with new model data, bringing you the storm risk for today, tomorrow, and Sunday, all of which are first alert weather days. So you'll want to tune in there. I do think that out of all 3 days, the best day to get outside will be Father's Day itself. 70% chance of storms tomorrow, only a 40% chance on Sunday. Stay safe this weekend, stay dry, and I'll see you guys on Monday.